Hi everyone, I'm about to prepare lunch. I had to skip breakfast today because I had some errands to run, and so now I'm like starving, so I am gonna make a lot of mistakes talking and everything like that, and honestly I'm gonna try not to do a lot of editing because I'm just hungry and I have a lot to do. So anyway, I was thinking of making some chicken thighs with the cheese and the bacon. I'm like, really, I don't want to eat the same thing. And it honestly, I just remembered I had chicken thighs thawed out, ready to go. And I decided to make an Asian inspired dish, kind of like a Chinese rice of sort. And I'm going to show you that right now. I have the chicken thighs cut up and diced up. These are some of the seasonings I will use: toasted sesame oil, soy sauce, ginger in powder form because that's all I had, minced garlic, sea salt, and black pepper. Now these are all the things I have. There's better, more natural, things, but that's what I had, so that's what I used. Cauliflower rice, some scallions or green onions, 2 eggs, some butter for the crisping up, and I am going to add some peppers because I found some in my freezer diced up. Okay, so I did forget we need to add a little bit of olive oil. I use this one. We're going to put that on high heat because that chicken thigh is going to cook so quickly. It's going to be so quick. I can't wait. Okay, so our oil is heated. We're going to add that in. Cook it on the higher heat if possible. Cook it on the higher heat if possible. I'm going to add a nice big spoonful of garlic. Honestly, I'm kind of doing it like just thrown in there, so I don't know portion amounts if they're going to be right. If I want to add more or something, that's okay. I'm going to add just a teensy bit of salt because most of it is going to come from the soy sauce. Now, you guys can bash me all you want in the comments if I'm doing this completely wrong, but honestly, I always say if it tastes good, I don't care, so I do it how I can, what's available to me. That's a little bit of ginger. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper, and then when this cooks through, I will taste it and see what I have to add. But for now, just need to let that cook for a second. I'm going to add a tiny bit of the toasted sesame. I actually use this more on the egg. But that was way too much. I'm sure that's going to be really strong. Oh boy. I'm not going to add any to the egg probably after that. So, we'll see. That was probably a little bit more than a teaspoon. It might be alright. Who knows? It smells amazing to me right now because I'm hungry. Now, the portions I'm adding to this might be a little off because it might seem like, oh my gosh, you put a lot of garlic in there, but I'm also putting all the cauliflower rice in there, the egg in there, and I like garlic, so I am going to add a little bit more. Probably another tablespoon or so. Not tablespoon, more like, oh yeah, half a tablespoon, I would say. Alright, let that cook in there for a little bit. Okay, so I had to add some more soy sauce, some more ginger, and I'm also adding a little bit of, garlic powder. I meant to do onion powder. That's just a tad bit. I'm trying to give it that Asian flavor. Honestly, I might be way off today. Like I said, I'm just so hungry, I can't think straight. I don't even know if I'm choosing the right ingredients at the moment. But it should be tasty. Let's see. Alright, so I'm going to add the peppers in there. They're frozen, so they're going to create more moisture, so you want to keep it on high so that moisture evaporates because I don't want it this moist. I want it to be almost like a fried rice once everything's added. So even at this point, I can honestly add the rice and add more flavorings once I start getting it all together. Okay, now that the rice and peppers are in there, it's starting to smell really, really good. But obviously, the cauliflower rice is literally just cauliflower, so there's absolutely no flavoring in that, so it's definitely going to need more of the salt and more of the soy sauce, maybe even some more toasted sesame oil. The egg is the last thing we add once this is pretty dry. The butter too, I wait for most of that water to be evaporated, then I add that butter to kind of make it toast up a tiny bit and get that more burnt, buttery flavor. Not burnt, but you know what I mean. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to evaporate, I cleaned up the kitchen, and now I'm going to prepare my eggs. I add a little bit of soy sauce to those, and a drop or two of the sesame oil. And I don't know if it's because it's an older sesame oil bottle, I'm not going to lie, because I've used a lot this time, and I honestly don't think I'm supposed to use that much. But I haven't noticed it in the flavoring when I try the rice. Because the rice is not raw, it's just cauliflower, I've just been tasting it and adding more soy sauce, more sesame oil, some onion powder. I pretty much added that repeatedly, you know, until I got it to the flavor I like. So just, you want to scramble your eggs after doing that and hold off to the side. Once this is completely dried out, which there's still plenty of liquid there, once that's dried out, we'll add that egg and almost in the center and create a scramble that will mix into the rice. Because it's not your typical white rice, it's taken a long time. I've been able to honestly do a little bit of dishes, but it's definitely finally coming together where it's, I made a mess, where it's crisping up and drying up, and this is the perfect time to start that process with the butter and the egg. Let me clean up this mess first though. So all this time it's been on 8, but now that it's finally dry and I can start smelling that browning happening, I'm going to lower it to a little bit like 7-ish, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to part a hole in the middle, right around there, and that's where I'll start with the butter. I'm going to start with this, let that butter melt real quick, and it should melt pretty quickly. And you want to leave that hole there, that rice will crisp up with that flavor. But eventually what you want to do first is get it melted enough to add our egg. And we will. We'll add it right there. And so basically you scramble it a bit. Let that cook a minute. And you start seeing some of the white around, you know that it's cooking properly, and then you can start stirring it. If you stir it too fast and too quickly, it won't. You'll just keep spreading it around on the rice, which you kind of don't want to do. You kind of want to have that scramble. You could do this apart on a different skillet. I just don't do that because this is easy enough. One skillet meal. Alright? Keep working on that. Leave that buttering on it. That's going to be some tasty egg. I did have another one because this is keto and we are allowed to have butter. It's one of those good fats. And so I am going to kind of coat that corner around so that it melts down the sides and starts that whole frying that rice a little bit while that egg is getting done. Okay, now see how it's coming together a bit. Fortunately, this wok is a little bit older and it's starting to stick a little bit on the bottom, and I don't want the rice to get ruined, so I'm going to start mixing the sides of it. I don't want it to burn. Just making sure my rice isn't burning. It isn't, but it's that smell of it burning on the actual skillet. But that egg is coming together nicely. We're getting to that point. Spread it out a little bit so that it can cook quicker. I like them thin. I like everything thin. I like everything to blend together. So I just want to line them up, and with my kitchen scissors makes the process a little bit easier. Looking at now that egg is done, definitely, so we can start mixing this up. It smells so good, guys. It might, because of the egg could be done separately if you don't want it to have that overly eggy look like it's having right now, kind of broken down. But honestly, the smell's amazing. I know it's going to taste good. There we go. Look at that wok action. I'm no pro, but it's fun. But this is ready to go. I am ready to eat. Okay, tell me that doesn't look good. This literally just came out of the wok, but I'm so hungry. Guys, this tastes so good. I can't tell you, hey, go make this exact recipe, because as you saw, I added things in as I was going along that I tasted. But all of the basics are there. Make your own version of this because this is amazing. I'm sorry, but this is so good. If you cannot have rice, this will make up for that. I promise you, you cannot hardly tell that you're eating cauliflower rice unless you're super duper picky. But if you've been in keto long enough, you've gotten adjusted to some of these flavors anyway. This is amazing. This is so tasty, so tasty. I love everything that I put in it. I like that I went along and kept trying and adding to my taste. And I would truly recommend you guys to try to make your own version of this. So if you enjoyed watching this video, please, please, please don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really do appreciate all the love and support that I've gotten so far. It may be small, but I see it, and I really do feel that love and that push to keep going on keto. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.